Some friendships in Hollywood are as dramatic as the movies themselves. Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise, two of the biggest stars in the industry, seemed like the perfect duo when they teamed up for The Mummy. But their collaboration wasn't all smooth sailing. Behind the camera, whispers of tension grew louder, with reports suggesting that Russell's blunt nature clashed with Tom's intense personality. Even on set, insiders noted their chemistry and fight scenes felt a little too real. Russell once said, "Thomas and I have an innate trust, but was that trust genuine or just for show? And what surprising role might Nicole Kidman play in this unfolding drama? Let's find out." It all started in 1990 on the set of Days of Thunder, a racing drama where Nicole, then 23, played Tom's love interest. She was new to Hollywood, fresh from Australia, where she'd starred in a few movies but was hardly a household name. Tom, on the other hand, was already a megastar, known worldwide for hits like Top Gun and Rain Man. Meeting him was overwhelming for Nicole. She would later recall how awestruck she felt when Tom arrived on set, exuding confidence and charm. Their connection was immediate, so much so that by the end of that same year, they were married in a private ceremony attended only by close family. Their relationship had a certain intensity from the start. They quickly became a team, not just in their personal lives but also professionally. Nicole's career began to rise alongside Tom's as they supported each other through various projects. In Hollywood, they seemed untouchable, a perfect couple living a dream. But behind the glamour, they faced struggles that many couples could relate to. Only their challenges played out on a public stage. Early in their marriage, Nicole endured an ectopic pregnancy, a deeply personal and painful experience that was also misunderstood by the media at the time. Years later, she clarified that she also suffered a miscarriage toward the end of their marriage. These heartbreaking moments shaped their relationship, leading them to adopt two children, Isabella and Connor. Both adoptions occurred within the first few years of their marriage, Isabella in 1992 and Connor in 1995. At the time, their family seemed complete, and they often appeared together in public, exuding warmth and closeness. But even as their family life blossomed, the pressures of fame and their shared work added layers of complexity. Their most ambitious collaboration came in 1999 with Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, a film that delved into themes of trust, secrecy, and desire. Production stretched for an unprecedented 400 days, making it one of the longest shoots in history. The couple lived on set for much of the time, raising their two children in a trailer parked nearby. Though Nicole has insisted that they were happy during the making of the film, some can't help but wonder if the movie mirrored cracks that were already forming in their real-life marriage. Kubrick reportedly mined their relationship for inspiration, observing and even prodding them with questions to better understand the dynamics he wanted to portray on screen. For a couple under constant public scrutiny, this deep dive into their private emotions may have been both rewarding and exhausting. In 2001, Tom filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. Nicole later described the divorce as a shock, something she hadn't anticipated. At the time, she publicly celebrated the legal end of their marriage, but she has also reflected on how difficult it was to let go. In interviews years later, Nicole admitted she still loved Tom, even as they had both moved on. After their split, their lives took dramatically different turns. Tom dove deeper into his association with Scientology, a factor often speculated to have influenced the divorce. He went on to marry actress Katie Holmes in 2006, with whom he had a daughter, Suri. That marriage also ended in divorce in 2012. Nicole, meanwhile, briefly dated musician Lenny Kravitz before finding lasting love with country star Keith Urban. She married Urban in 2006, and they now share two daughters, Sunday and Faith. Even 2 decades after their divorce, Nicole and Tom's story remains a topic of fascination. Nicole has often revisited their time together in interviews, particularly when discussing projects like Eyes Wide Shut. She views their shared history as a significant part of her career and personal growth. Tom, on the other hand, reportedly finds these mentions irritating, Sources close to him suggest that he wishes Nicole would make questions about their marriage off-limits, as he prefers to leave that chapter behind. This tension raises questions about how differently the two view their past and the impact it continues to have on their lives. But what does someone like Russell Crowe have to say about all this? His name might not come up often in conversations about Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, but when it does, it raises some intriguing questions. What insight could he possibly offer about Tom? And why does his perspective matter so much? Russell Crowe has a unique position in this story. He's not just an outside observer, he's been close to both Nicole and Tom for years. In fact, Russell's friendship with Nicole goes way back to the early 90s. They met at a casual barbecue hosted by Naomi Watts, a connection that grew into a strong and enduring bond. It was through Nicole that Russell first met Tom Cruise, who at the time was one of the biggest stars in the world. This kind of introduction might seem like just a simple meeting, but in Hollywood, relationships like these are complex and often long-lasting. For a while, Russell and Tom shared a friendly connection. Tom even admired Russell's work and expressed interest in his films. Their conversations were easy and respectful, and they maintained this casual friendship for years. But things took a turn when Nicole and Tom divorced. That split created ripples that went far beyond the two of them, and Russell felt caught in the middle. Here's where things get interesting. Russell is known for being loyal, and his friendship with Nicole seemed to make him feel protective of her after the divorce. Reports suggest that Russell didn't approve of the way Tom treated Nicole during their marriage. This disapproval wasn't something he broadcast to the world, but it did influence how he interacted with Tom afterward. Over time, this loyalty to Nicole reportedly created distance between him and Tom. It's said that Russell began to feel like staying close to Tom would somehow betray Nicole. So he made a choice, one that some say led to tension between the two actors. Fast forward to 2017, and Russell and Tom finally worked together on The Mummy. It was a major project and their first on-screen collaboration despite knowing each other for over 25 years. From the outside, it seemed like a dream pairing, two powerhouse actors coming together. But behind the scenes, things weren't so smooth. Rumors swirled that Russell found it hard to work with Tom during the film's production. People close to the situation hinted that the tension wasn't just professional, it was personal, tied to lingering feelings about Nicole and her past with Tom. Russell reportedly didn't hold back his feelings about the situation. Those who knew him described him as fiercely loyal, someone who stands by his friends no matter what. So, when it came to Nicole, it's no surprise that he would feel protective of her. This dynamic reportedly created friction on set, with some saying that Russell and Tom couldn't stand each other. However, both actors remained professional, delivering powerful performances and even sharing an intense fight scene that showcased their chemistry on screen. But despite their professionalism, the cracks in their relationship were noticeable. For years, Russell had been vocal about how difficult divorce can be, especially for high-profile couples like Nicole and Tom. He called their split heavy and acknowledged that it must have been hard for both of them. These comments weren't meant to stir up drama but showed his empathy for the pain his friends went through. Yet the way Russell's loyalty leaned toward Nicole became clear over time. Interestingly, while promoting The Mummy, Russell and Tom appeared to set aside their differences for the cameras. They joked about their past and shared stories about how they first met. But some insiders suggested that the camaraderie was more surface-level than genuine. Russell's history with Nicole and his feelings about how Tom treated her seemed to leave an unshakable mark on their relationship. This feud, or at least the tension between them, highlights something bigger than just a personal rift. It shows how deeply loyalty and relationships can influence even the most successful professionals in Hollywood. Russell wasn't just another actor working with Tom, he was someone with a long history tied to both Tom and Nicole. His stance, whether intentional or not, became a reflection of how messy relationships can become when personal and professional lives overlap. What's fascinating is how both men have handled the situation publicly. Tom, ever the polished movie star, rarely addresses personal matters, keeping his focus on his career. He's known for his charm and ability to deflect uncomfortable questions with ease. Russell, on the other hand, is more straightforward. He has spoken openly about his admiration for Nicole and his complicated feelings about working with Tom. Yet despite any personal disagreements, Russell has acknowledged Tom's talent and professionalism, proving that respect can coexist with unresolved tension. But the controversies surrounding Tom Cruise go far beyond his interactions with Russell Crowe or Nicole Kidman. Over the years, Tom has become just as well known for his fiery personality and questionable moments as for his blockbuster movies. One moment that still raises eyebrows happened back in 1999, when Tom appeared on a popular late-night show and shared a story about restricting oxygen for a passenger during a flight. He described how he and his co-pilot turned off the oxygen mask for someone traveling with them to save their own supply while flying at high altitudes. The audience initially laughed along with Tom, but as he kept retelling the story with a grin, the mood shifted. The host seemed taken aback, even questioning whether the act bordered on manslaughter. Tom assured everyone that the passenger was fine, but the moment left people wondering, was this an odd sense of humor or something more alarming? Just a few years later, in 2005, Tom's public image took another hit when he made headlines for an unforgettable appearance on a daytime talk show. You've probably heard about the infamous couch-jumping incident. Tom was gushing about his relationship with Katie Holmes, and his over-the-top excitement led him to literally jump onto a couch during the interview. While the live audience loved it at the moment, the scene quickly became a meme. Instead of seeing him as a passionate romantic, people began questioning if something was off about Tom. It changed the way the public viewed him, almost overnight. That same year, Tom stirred up even more trouble when he criticized actress Brooke Shields for using antidepressants to treat postpartum depression. Tom, a devoted Scientologist, made it clear he believed in alternatives like vitamins and exercise instead of medication. His comments sparked a heated debate and drew backlash from mental health advocates, doctors, and even Brooke herself. This feud snowballed into a heated exchange on another show, where Tom argued with the host about the existence of chemical imbalances and the validity of antidepressants. The whole ordeal painted Tom as out of touch and overly aggressive, leading to another wave of criticism. And then, there was the time he called out an Australian journalist during an interview in 2005. The reporter was asking questions about Nicole Kidman, which seemed fair given the public's interest in their highly publicized divorce. But Tom didn't see it that way. He quickly shut the reporter down, accusing him of overstepping boundaries. The tension in that moment was palpable, and it became yet another example of Tom's short temper and insistence on controlling his narrative. Speaking of temper, Tom has had a few moments that showcased his fiery side. At a premiere for one of his movies, a prankster sprayed water on his face using a fake microphone. Instead of laughing it off, Tom confronted the prankster and called him rude, making it clear he didn't find the joke amusing. Some saw this as justified, while others felt it showed how tightly wound Tom could be when things didn't go his way. His temper also showed up in stories shared by former Scientologist Leah Remini, who detailed some of her interactions with Tom in her memoir. In one instance, she described how Tom allegedly shouted at his assistants over something as trivial as finding cookie dough while trying to bake. Stories like these painted a picture of someone who demanded perfection and didn't handle disruptions well, no matter how minor. Then there's his on-set behavior, which has made waves more than once. Actress Thandiwe Newton opened up about her experience working with Tom on Mission Impossible 2. She described feeling overwhelmed by his intensity and pressure to meet his high standards. According to her, rehearsing scenes with Tom was stressful and intimidating, leaving her feeling insecure and anxious. While she acknowledged that Tom was trying his best to make things work, the experience left a lasting negative impression. Even more recently, during the filming of Mission Impossible 7, Tom's temper came to light again. When crew members broke COVID-19 safety protocols, Tom exploded in a now famous rant that was leaked to the public. He shouted about the importance of keeping the film industry running and threatened to fire anyone who didn't follow the rules. While some applauded his dedication to safety, others saw it as another example of his inability to handle stress calmly. These controversies don't just show Tom's fiery nature, they reveal a pattern. Time and again, his actions and reactions have left people divided. Is he passionate and driven or controlling and volatile? It's a question that keeps coming up, especially as stories from his past continue to resurface. One such story came from his early days as an actor. Tom's former manager recalled an incident where he refused to speak to a waitress because he was still in character for a role. This same manager described Tom as having a terrible temper, sharing how he once threw a gift across the room because he didn't like being associated with teen magazines. Moments like these suggest that Tom's perfectionism and desire to control his image have been part of his personality for a long time. But Tom's feuds and controversies extend far beyond his temper. His interactions with other celebrities reveal even more about his complicated reputation. Alec Baldwin took aim at Tom's sky-high Hollywood salary, pointing out the enormous pay gap between Cruise and most other actors. Baldwin humorously suggested that Tom could balance the scales by cutting his paycheck, a joke that highlighted the massive financial disparity Cruise represents in the industry. It wasn't just about money, though. It hinted at how some of Tom's peers view him as a symbol of excess and privilege in Hollywood. Then there's Justin Bieber's bizarre challenge. In 2019, Bieber publicly dared Tom to a fight in the octagon, adding fuel to a feud that seemed to exist only in Bieber's mind. He even posted a video of himself kicking a bottle cap and jokingly pretending it was Tom's head. While Bieber later claimed it was all in good fun, the randomness of the situation left many wondering why he'd target Cruise at all. Tom's relationship with fellow Scientologist John Travolta hasn't been smooth either. According to reports, Travolta envied Tom's close connection to Scientology leader David Miscavige and the perks Cruise allegedly received. Stories circulated about lavish gifts for Tom, like an airplane hangar and custom motorcycles, creating tension between the two stars. Although Travolta has never publicly confirmed these feelings, insiders suggest their rivalry within the church remains unresolved. Another long-standing conflict involves Brad Pitt. During the filming of Interview with the Vampire in 1994, Pitt reportedly struggled to connect with Tom, finding their personalities clashing. Pitt once described their dynamic as being opposites, with Cruise's intense energy creating an unspoken competition. That tension, it seems, has lingered for years, with the two stars never quite seeing eye to eye since. Mark Wahlberg also had his share of criticism for Tom. After Tom made a comment comparing acting to military service, Wahlberg slammed the idea, calling it disrespectful to real soldiers. While Tom's team later clarified he was joking, the damage was done. Wahlberg's reaction reflected how Cruise's words can sometimes come across as out of touch, even if unintended. Through all these controversies and rivalries, one thing is clear. Tom Cruise has left a complicated legacy. His talent and work ethic have earned him a place at the top of Hollywood, but his intense personality and high-profile clashes have kept him under constant scrutiny. Love him or hate him, people can't seem to look away. What do you think about Tom Cruise's controversies and feuds? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching.